Hey, Navaughn. Well, first, can you just take us through what the rehab process was like? Obviously, I mean, it's always a difficult rehab to come back from a big knee injury, but especially a guy that's as heavy as you are. I mean, that's even tougher. Putting weight on that knee, and just what it felt like to finally get into a game and have a big game like you did this past weekend.
At first it was a lot of pain, like from getting off of the hospital to being home to not even being able to walk on it for 6 months. It's a lot. And then be able to just to learn how to bend it again was a long process that the trainers helped me mentally and physically. So, it was a long process, but with the training staff we have here, it was a great process. I was able to get stronger, faster, with their help, and also feel good mentally and physically. So.
And what about how it felt just getting back into a game like you did this Saturday and having like the big block for the Cam Harris touchdown, things like that?
It was good to get back in the game. My mindset was if I'm going to play, just play as fast as possible, as hard as possible, and just if I'm making mistakes, oh well, just go in and play and have fun.
All right, next up we have Manny Navarro of The Athletic. Manny, go ahead.
Hey, Navaughn, welcome back. I'm curious if you could just take us back to Duke a year ago when you first got hurt and just kind of, what that moment was like when you realized it was serious and, just that journey, the beginning of it, how it kind of all got started, the comeback.
Even at first, I didn't know how serious it was until, like, I heard from some players that had the same injury as me, and, like, it's a long process. But I feel like the difference between that year and this year is the depth of the offensive line. Last year we didn't really have too many people that our coach last year was comfortable putting in the game, but we just had to manage. I know this year we have a lot of depth in the offensive line room. The talent level is amazing, and everybody in there has the ability to step on the field and help us win. So.
And then on the other side of it too, you've always been a big guy, but the importance of just being in great shape and how hard that might be to achieve when you're coming back from a knee injury and just maybe the focus that you have on being in great shape going forward.
I know like when I was able to actually start running and start planting and stuff like that, my training, my rehab was more cardio, like running on the treadmill for 12 minutes, different speeds all the time. Is always running, always moving. The process, it was hard. It was harder than practice sometimes. Like when I got back to practice, I was happy how hard the rehab was. So, it was just good.
Thanks.
All right, next up we have David Wilson of the Miami Herald. David, go ahead.
Hey, Navaughn, first of all, congrats on getting back out there. First, I don't know if we ever got the full extent of the diagnosis. What was the exact injury? Were there a couple of tears in there, or was it just the diagnosis?
I tore my ACL and my MCL.
Okay, so it was multiple.
Yeah.
And then just for you, you kind of really got thrown in there on Saturday, going from no snaps to kind of playing a lot with Ja'Kai going down. I don't know, was that difficult? Like, how tired were you after that? And just, how are you kind of feeling a couple of days later after, really kind of getting thrown into the fire again?
I was ready to play since Virginia Tech game when we only had a handful of offensive linemen. So I know before the game, my coach said if any of the guards go down, just be ready to step in. And, guard went down and I was ready to help. So it was just good. And what was the other part of the question? I forgot.
No, I think you got it. Thanks.
Okay. No problem.
All right, Navaughn, next up we have David Lake of Inside the U. David, go ahead.
Hey, Navaughn, wanted to ask you just about playing in this new offense, particularly you being a big guy and the offense likes to play at a fast tempo, right? Has that been an adjustment for you in any way? And just what do you think of that?
I love it, actually. Like, going back to my freshman year, it's pretty much the same tempo. This tempo is a little bit faster, but the play calling is simple. It's easy for us to just get in there, just play hard. So, I love the offensive coordinator and his schemes and be able to play with everybody's strengths within the offensive scheme. So I think it's really good for me.
I was wondering too if you wouldn't mind sharing just what you're weighing in at right now playing, and maybe in the future, have the trainers or David Feely set a goal for you that they'd like to get you down to, like maybe even as far as next season?
Uh, right now you don't have to worry about all that. I mean, like I'm still a little banged up where I can't really play full speed as it is. So right now I'm just worrying about the injuries I got from practicing for real the first week, and just like be able to contribute. That's it.
All right, Nesta, or Navaughn, sorry about that. We have a couple more questions. Next up, we have Christopher Stock from Inside the U. Chris, go ahead.
And Nesta, curious about your mindset these next few games about playing time. Obviously, you've been a starter your whole time here. Or are you, the coaches have talked about maybe bringing you along slowly. Just your mindset now that you've played a game, or are you looking to be a full-time player, role player? How do you see it these next few games?
I'm comfortable with anything the coach want me to do. Me and him talk all the time about stuff. If the coach don't feel like it's necessary for me to play, I'll play. But like I said earlier, the offensive line room has have a whole bunch of talent at tackle, guard, and center. So I think playing me slow was a good idea. Having everybody else come in and step in, like Uzman, who was able to take some reps off of me, even the Duke game, and come out and help us score more points and help us win. So like I said earlier, we have a whole bunch of talent in the offensive line room and just getting better and better every day.
All right, next up, we have Gary Furman of Kane Sport. Gary, go ahead.
Hey, Navaughn, you've been here for a while now, obviously, and they've gone through some different changes and stuff. In watching the offensive line this year, it seems like guys are improving as the season's going on. You're really seeing it. The sack totals are down and things like that. Talk about the impact that Coach Justice has made, and maybe what kind of different style that he might have that's having a little bit of a positive effect on you guys.
I mean, it comes from his personality. And like Coach Justice is an amazing coach. He's a laid back type of guy. But he'll work you. He'll work you hard. We're gonna play fast, and we're gonna know what we did wrong if we make a mistake. And that's one thing I think is the best approach that you have is the set that if you're gonna make a mistake, it's gonna be 100% your fault, and you're able to fix it. You just have to play hard and focus on your technique, and just come in every day, be able to practice fast and stuff. So it's really good.
Is he much different than the other coaches that you've worked under in your time at Miami?
Yes, he's yes, he's much different. He's a little bit of Coach Searles where the technique wise, the practice how it feels was a little bit, but he's his own person. Everything he do, he's just a laid back type of vibe. That when we work, and we work fast. We're gonna work hard, and we're gonna work with great technique. And that's one thing he installed into us, like be able to play your best when your best is needed, and just to be consistent.
All right, thank you.
All right, our last question for you comes from David Feronas of the Sun Sentinel. David, go ahead.
Hey, Navaughn, just also wanted to ask how grateful you are of the NCAA rule that lets you still contribute at the end of this year and not have to redshirt entirely, but then that you still do get an extra season at the end of this. And then also what your approach will be to the off season to get a full off season beyond your recovery now.
I mean, the whole plan was for me to redshirt, but I don't know. Since this year's don't count, I don't know how that's going to go. I mean, it's just a free year. So, I mean, it is what it is. And I think for this off season, I'm just going to work as hard as I can. That's it. Being here all the time, seeing the trainers, being in the weight room more than I usually be. Even if I have free time, just come in and get something done. Be able to watch more film, especially with the team. I think that's one thing that we did this season that helped us bond more as an offensive unit. So, I mean, it's just a lot of stuff that I'm ready to get back into.
All right, Navaughn, thanks a lot for taking the time to talk with us, and good luck on Saturday.
All right, thanks.